Hi everyone, it's Desiree with the Woman of Beauty and Means blog, and today I wanted to talk to you about step 2 of how to seduce your life or how to endlessly be charmed by your life, whichever one you prefer. So last week we talked about step 1, which was largely bringing your awareness, your attention back to your own life. And this week in step 2, I want to expand upon that for you. And in order to do that, I have a little example I'd like you to imagine for yourself the ideal date that you're going to go on. In fact, you're going to have 3 dates, 3 guys, but it's always going to be the same guy. He's going to look the same, exactly the way you want him or her to look. He's going to have the great job, the career, the ambitions, the goals that are totally in alignment with you, the personality you imagine that you would absolutely adore and love, all of those great qualities. So get that guy or that girl in mind. And then, like I said, we're going to imagine going on 3 different dates with that same person. So date number 1, you show up to a great trendy restaurant, sort of gastropub. You sit down and the guy has the cell phone in the hand. He cannot seem to let it go. He's scrolling through email, he's answering text. Meanwhile, he's sort of interested in the menu. He's not really paying attention to you. He's asking you questions that you've already answered. You have to repeat yourself several times. He checks out the hot woman who walks in. He's interested in their date over there. And he's kind of watching the TV screen because there's a sports game going on. And he spends the whole date distracted. So that's date number 1. Date number 2, same guy, same looks, same ideal personality, same goals, ambitions, everything. This guy shows up and you go to the gastropub and it seems to be starting off even better. He doesn't have the cell phone in his hand. He is paying attention to you 100%, but he seems almost intensely focused on you. And he immediately starts in on asking you questions. He wants to know what you do for a living. And when you tell him that you actually got a law degree, but somewhere along the line you decided that wasn't very fulfilling for you and you went into social work, which is now your passion, you love what you do, it's everything you've wanted, he sort of rolls his eyes and he's not very impressed by this. He insinuates that maybe you wasted a lot of time and money doing something that's going to help no one. He asks you why you're single, and he sort of insinuates that there must be something wrong with you if you're still single at this age. He asks you about your last boyfriend. He wants to know what went wrong. Was it your fault? Was it his? How long did it last? He asks you about your hobbies, and you kind of hesitate, but you tell him that you have started knitting tiny sweaters for Tibetan cats living in orphanages worldwide, and he laughs at you. And the whole date goes like that. You feel like you are being interrogated, interviewing for the job, the position of girlfriend, and you're not even sure you want it at this point. That's date number 2. Date number 3, same guy, same looks, same quality, same personality. He shows up at the restaurant and he is completely relaxed. He's at ease with himself. He is focusing all his attention on you. But he tells you a little bit about himself, and then he asks you what you do for a living. You tell him that you used to have a law degree, but now you work in social work. It's your passion. He seems generally thrilled for you. He tells you that he thinks it's so important for people to find what they love and what they do. He wants to know more about the social work you do. Who do you help? How do you want to see it going? Where do you want that to be in the future? He seems really interested in it. He asks you about your hobbies, and you tell him that you knit tiny sweaters for Tibetan cats in orphanages, and he sort of looks perplexed, and he laughs a little, but he's intrigued by it. He wants to know how you got started with this, where it came from, and you get the feeling that he thinks this sort of quirk of yours is really cute and adorable and delightfully unexpected. The evening goes on just like that. He's asking questions that show that he's listening to you. He's making insightful remarks. That's date number 3. So, who do you think gets the second date? It should be obvious, right? I hope it's obvious. It's definitely guy number 3. So, what is the difference between all 3 of these dates? It's the quality of the attention they brought to the date and the way that makes you feel. So, date number 1, he was distracted. He wasn't really present. He wasn't all in. And that made you feel like you weren't important, like you didn't really want to be there. And he wasn't invested. He wasn't really into you. So we kind of talked about this in step 1, but that's why it's a good reminder of the type of awareness you bring. You need to bring all of your attention, all of your energy to your life, at least in moments, right? That's the only way you're ever going to feel important and that your life is ever going to feel important to you. So the second date, the type of attention he brought was really critical. It was judgmental. So he may have been all present, he may have been putting all of his attention on you, but it made you kind of shrink away and want to get away from it because it didn't feel good. It felt like someone who went into that date already believing there was something wrong with you and that you were going to disappoint him, and he just wanted to figure it out before he even invested in it. But date number 3 came in and his attention was relaxed. It was as if you were fascinating, you were interesting, and it was like he came into that date already convinced that you were a good thing, that you were beautiful and smart and intelligent, and that all he had to do was sit back and enjoy all of that. It was already there. He was already convinced. So it's really not just about the attention you bring to your life. It's about the kind of attention that you're going to bring to your life and to yourself. Obviously, you want to bring the kind of attention that guy number 3 brought. But how often, even though it's so obvious when I give you this example of this date where this guy is critical, he's expecting bad things to happen, that he's going to be disappointed, that you're not what you seem, how often do we bring that same critical, expecting to be disappointed and not find what we want kind of attention to our own lives? And then we're sort of shocked and surprised that life would shrink away from us, that it wouldn't want to engage with us, and that we don't want to engage with ourselves. So that's why it's really important to bring the attention and the energy of guy number 3. You need to look at your life and expect to find beauty and pleasure there. You need to look at all your quirks and foibles and the things that might make you sort of hesitate or be a little self-conscious as things that make you human, that make you adorable, unique, that are delightfully unexpected. You need to bring understanding to the things that you might be tempted to feel judgmental about. How do we do that? Well, luckily you've already started this little ritual of every morning bringing your attention through journaling to your own life, to what you want, to what's working, what's not working. And last week, anything went. But this week, I want you to refine the type of attention you bring to your life. So how do you do that? Well, I want you to spend that 10 minutes, and the rest of the day you can go back to whatever habit you're used to. You can complain, you can look for what's wrong. I know it's hard to change, but you get to do it for the rest of the day. But for the first 10 minutes of your day, when you're spending it in that journal, I want you to look for the pleasure or beauty that you saw yesterday. What went right, what pleased you, what was great. I want you to approach your life with that expectation that there's beauty to be found, because there is. Once you start focusing on that, you will be delighted and surprised at how much does go right, at how much pleasure and beauty really already is in your life, and you just don't notice it. You're not open to receiving it. The second thing is I want you to focus on something you did that made you proud. And some days you might have to dig deep, and you might have to really scrape the bottom of the barrel to find something. But that's okay, that's where we start. So something that you did that went right, something you did that was towards your goals, any of those things. And the third thing is I want you to find something that you're curious about. It can be about you, or it can be something you want to learn. It can be a new passion that's kind of coming up for you. Any of those things works. So those three things, you're going to find something that was pleasurable or beautiful in your life yesterday, something you were proud of that you did yesterday, and then something that you're curious about, or something that you desire in the future. And that should help train your mind to start applying that kind of attention to your life. It will feel good. You'll look forward to it. You'll approach your day with a lot more comfortable ease, relaxed energy. And that should be enough to convince you to start to use that kind of attention, that kind of awareness more and more. So that's step 2. Next week, I'll come to you with step 3, and we'll go a little bit further. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next week. Thanks. Bye, guys.